Here are today's top stories. May 18, 2024. Exploring the roots of taxation, a journey from survival to state economy relationship.
Exploring the dual nature of taxation, an inherent right and legislative power.
Purpose of taxation, a powerful tool for shaping society and economy.
Understanding the boundaries of taxation, inherent limitations in focus.
Deciphering the core principles of taxation, fiscal adequacy, equality, and administrative feasibility.
Unveiling the inherent powers of government, police power, taxation, and eminent domain.
Decoding the tax code, a comprehensive look at the classification of taxes.
Exploring the labyrinth of taxation, unveiling the 6 escape routes.
Empowering local government units, unraveling the intricacies of local taxation in the Philippines.
Unveiling the Train Law, a closer look to the impact of Republic Act No. 10963 on income tax and VAT in the Philippines.
In a rapidly changing world, staying informed is critical. We bring you today's top stories provided with the facts, context, and analysis you need.
From breaking news in-depth features, we're here to guide you to navigating taxes with heart, empowering you through the financial means.
Good day, Philippines. I am Irish Brisa Picache.
And I am Lovely Jane Illustre.
And this is Tax Watch News, where we break down complex tax matters into digestible bites.
Tune in and stay informed, stay tax savvy.
Taxation, a term that often brings to mind numbers, forms, and deadlines. It has a rich history back from centuries. But what's truly intriguing is how it has evolved over time. Have you ever wondered about the origins of taxation? Let's hear the report from Maria Crisajoy Mababa.
Thank you, Irish. In the pre-colonial period in the Philippines, Asian Filipinos paid taxes called buwis or hagtug to their rulers, known as datus, in exchange for protection. But then, the chieftain's family member were enjoying exemption from paying taxes. During the Spanish period, the Spanish introduced new taxes like the Manila Acapulco Galilean trade, Polo y Servicio, forced labor, and Bandala agricultural requisitions. Under American rule, they implemented a residency tax called the cedula that required Filipinos over 18 to pay. The concept of taxation is as old as civilization itself. It emerged not just as a financial mechanism but as a necessity for survival and function of governments. The exact birth of taxation is lost in the sands of time. But throughout history, from the earliest societies to modern states, taxation has played a crucial role in shaping economies. Today, tax laws represent a comprehensive and general system. It's a result of the evolution of taxes and the ever-increasing relationship between the state and the economy. A set of rules passed by our legislature that allow the government to acquire claims or a share of our property. This legal duty established by law gives the state the authority to collect revenue from its citizen. But what is taxation really? It is the power vested in the sovereign, the government, to impose burdens or charges upon us, the people, our property, and our property rights. And why does the government do this? It's to enable the government to discharge its functions, to provide us with the services we need, and to support the infrastructure we rely on every day. Every road we drive on, every public school, and every maintained park is a testament to the role of taxation in our daily lives.
Thank you, Krisa. With this, we want to explore the nature of taxation power, a cornerstone of our nation's sovereignty and governance. What does your report say about this?
The power of taxation is a fascinating concept. Taxation is not merely a tool for raising revenue. It is the very essence of a sovereign state's existence. It's both inherent and legislative in nature. What does that mean? This power is inherent because it is a fundamental attribute that every independent government naturally possesses. And it doesn't need to be granted, this power, by the people. Why is this so? Simply put, the government needs resources to function, and these resources come from the contribution of the people. But who wields this mighty power? It is the legislature, the elected body of representatives who are entrusted with the authority to enact tax laws. That is why the power of taxation is also legislative in character. This is not just a matter of procedure, but a high act of sovereignty, reflecting policy, necessity, and public welfare. With the power to tax comes the responsibility to ensure that the means of collection are just and effective. The legislature alone has the power to determine how taxes shall be collected and to appoint the officers who will enforce these laws. Now, as we navigate the complexities of tax laws, it's crucial to remember their purpose: to enable the government to serve the people, to build a society where everyone contributes to, and to benefit from the people's collective progress. This is Maria Crisa Joy Mababa reporting for the people. Stay informed, stay tax savvy.
Now, as we delve deeper, we will shift our focus on what the purpose of taxation is. Let us have Justine Marie Lazarte for the report.
Thank you, Lovely. Taxation, often seen as a burden, is in fact the lifeline of a civilized society. It's the means through which we, the people, contribute to the collective well-being of our community. The primary goal of taxation is to generate revenue for public needs, from the education of our children to the health services we rely on. Taxes help fund the essential public services that define our quality of life and what allows us to live in a civilized society. But that's not all. Taxation serves as a versatile tool in shaping economic policies. It can stabilize prices, spur production, and even influence the very structure of our national economy. Consider import taxes, which can be adjusted to protect domestic industries or reduced to foster foreign trade. Taxation can also channel capital into areas where it's most needed, driving growth and innovation. As a powerful instrument of fiscal policy, taxation doesn't just fill the state's coffer, it influences the direction and structure of our money supply and prices, impacting every facet of the national economy. So the next time you file your taxes, remember, it's not just about paying bills, it's about shaping our economy and our society and keeping our city, our civilization thriving. This is Justine Marie Lazarte reporting. Stay informed, stay tax savvy.
Taxation, a term that often sparks debate. It is rooted in the undeniable truth that the government's very existence hinges on its ability to fund its operations. From the bustling metropolis to the quiet countryside, every sector of our society is touched by the hand of taxation. And it's not merely a duty but a necessity, ensuring that the wheels of governance, whether democratic or despotic, continue to turn. Every tax we pay, every penny that leaves our pockets, is an exaction for revenue. And it's not just money, it is a contribution, a pledge of support to the government. And now, we will explore the intricate balance between the citizens' contributions and the government's responsibilities. We are now breaking down the inherent limitations of the power of taxations, the rules that govern how taxes are levied and collected, and here is Jen Maui Sylvester for the report.
Thank you, Arish. Taxation is a powerful tool, but it's not without its boundaries, such as limitation of public purpose, limitation of territorial jurisdiction, and limitation of double taxation, and limitation of non-delegation of taxing power, and limitation of exception of government agency or instrumentality. So let's talk about them one by one. First and foremost, taxes must serve a public purpose. They're used to fund the government and its recognized objectives, and to support the welfare of the community in equal measure. Next, we have a limitation of territorial jurisdiction. The sovereignty of a state extends only as far as its territorial jurisdiction. A state's power to tax is bound by its borders. Within this confine, it can tax people, property, income, and business, but not beyond its territorial limit. Then, there's the issue of double taxation. The limitation of double taxation aims to prevent the same property from being taxed twice for the same purpose with the same period by the same public authority. The power to tax is also non-delegable. The Constitution states that sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. It's a constitutional mandate that this authority rests with the legislature, ensuring tax laws are crafted with consideration for policy and public welfare. This means that the power to tax cannot be delegated to the president or to the local government. However, it can be delegated to municipal corporation for better administration of government in matter of local concern. Lastly, we look at the exception of government agency or instrumentality. Generally, agencies and instrumentalities of the government are off limits to taxation to prevent a cycle of taxing itself. These include properties owned by the Philippine government, any province, city, municipality, or municipal district. However, when government entities engage in profit-making activities, they're not exempt from taxes. This limitation ensures the power of taxation is exercised fairly and justly, respecting the rights of the citizen and the sovereignty of the state. Understanding this principle helps us appreciate the balance between the government's need for revenue and our rights as taxpayer. This is Jen Mal Silvestre reporting. Stay informed, states tax saving.
Let's now talk about the basic principles that guide our nation's taxation system and ensure that our tax system is fair, functional, and forward-thinking. We have Solomon Val to discuss the details.
Thank you, Lovely. The basic principles of taxation consist of fiscal adequacy, equality or theoretical justice, and administrative feasibility. Let's break them down. Our first principle, fiscal adequacy, says the source of revenue must be enough to cover the expanding governmental expenses. This holds true regardless of business conditions, economic fluctuations, export taxes, or trade imbalances, since the state needs sufficient funds to function. Think of it as the financial backbone that keeps our nation running smoothly. Then there's equality or theoretical justice. This principle is all about fairness. It means that taxes should be based on one's ability to pay. After all, a just society is one where everyone contributes their fair share based on their financial capacity. And let's not forget administrative feasibility. Our final principle focuses on practicality. Our tax system should be clear and enforceable. It should be convenient for you, the taxpayer, and not hinder your business or personal activities. After all, a tax system that's difficult to understand or comply with isn't going to be very effective.
With that, Solomon, they are also the fundamental authorities that shape our society and ensure its smooth functioning, the inherent powers of government. What can you tell us about this?
Lovely. There are three inherent powers of the government, which are police power, taxations, and eminent domain. So first on our list of inherent power is police power. It's the government's right to regulate our activities for the common good, even without specific laws in place. It's about keeping the community safe and ensuring public welfare. Think of it as the government's superhero cape, ensuring safety, health, and order. Next up, we have taxation as another key power. It's how the government collects taxes, charges, and fees from its taxpayers. These powers extend to all individuals and entities under its sovereignty and or territorial jurisdictions. So while to fund essential services from the roads we drive onto the school our children attend, as well as healthcare and more taxes are the lifeblood of public infrastructure. And then there's eminent domain as our final power. This allows the government to take private property for public use but only with fair compensations. It's a power used to build highways, parks, and facilities that benefits us all. Also, it's used sparingly and only when the public good outweighs private ownership. With this, a tax can be understood as a compulsory charge imposed by a sovereign government on its citizens or their properties within its territory. Following a period of allocation, This is done to generate public funds to sustain the government operations. The underlying principle is that the government existing is essential and it cannot function without resources to cover its costs. Therefore, it has the authority to mandate all citizens and properties within its boundaries to contribute to these resources. This is Solomon Durabal, reporting, stay informed, stay tax savvy.
We now know that taxes is an enforced contribution, an exacted pursuant to legislative authority, and a contribution in money. It is also levied upon person, property, and property rights for the purpose of raising revenue. Furthermore, it must be for public purposes and must be proportionate in character. With this, we will be taking a short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back with more insights on taxation. Stay tuned!
Pepero Day with Eugene! Honey, I got you a Pepero! Me too! Me too! Pepero is for you! Let's enjoy Pepero Day! Say hello! Pepero! Love the Pepero!
Welcome back to our ongoing coverage. Moving forward, we are simplifying the complex world of taxes into a story that affects us all, the classification of taxes. To fill us in on the details, we have Cassandra J. De La Cruz standing by.
Thank you, Irish. The classification of tax is according to 6 things: the purpose, object, subject, determination of the amount, authority imposing the tax, and the rate. Let's discuss them individually. Let's start with the tax according to the purpose. There are fiscal tax like the percentage tax on goods made right here in our country, designated to raise revenue for governmental needs. Then there are regulatory taxes. These aren't just about raising money. They are about shaping the society and economy like tariffs that protect our homegrown industries or custom duties. Moving on to the tax according to the object. We have the personal, cultivation, or poll tax, which is a flat charge on individual within the jurisdiction of the taxing power, like the residence tax, not based on the wealth or work. Property tax are next, calculated on the value of your property and assessed at the owner's domicile. Also, privileges may be included in the valuation. An example is the real estate tax. And don't forget about the excise tax, imposed directly by the legislator and is measured by the amount of the business done or extent to which the privileges has been enjoyed or exercised. Now, let's talk about the tax according to the subject. Direct tax, like income tax, is when the person on whom the tax is imposed absorbs the tax or bears it. While indirect tax is more sneaky, since this is a charge paid by a person other than the one on whom it is legally imposed, like the value-added tax. Taxes are classified according to determination of amount. Let's unpack the story first with specific tax. This is a set amount charged per unit by the head or member, like a fixed fee on each bottle of wine or spirit you buy. No complicated math, just a straightforward charge based on the weight or measure. It requires no assessment other than a listing or classification of subject to tax. An example is an excise tax on wines or liquors. On the other side, we had the ad valorem tax. This is a fixed proportion based on the value of the property, and it requires an intervention of the assessor to appraise the value of such property, like the real estate tax on your home or an excise tax on your favorite cigar and cigarettes. Tax also differs according to the authority imposing the tax. National tax are levied and collected by the national government. An example is an income tax, while the municipal tax are levied and collected by the municipal government. An example is a real estate tax. Lastly, tax according to rate. Proportional tax takes a fixed cut regardless of the amount of income, property, and other base to be taxed. A single rate being applied to different objects with different values. Progressive tax asks more from those who have more, since the tax rate increases as the tax base increases. An example is an income tax. The regressive tax is the effective rate decreasing as the base increase. An example is a value-added tax. Whether it is a specific tax on wine and liquors or an ad valorem tax on a piece of land, these taxes are part of the economic rhythm of our nation. This is Cassandra J. De La Cruz reporting. Stay informed, stay tax savvy.
Now, we delve into the strategies employed by the individuals and corporations to navigate taxation. From shifting to evasion, we uncover the legal and sometimes illegal tactics used to minimize tax liabilities. Filling us the information, let us have Justine Marie Lazarte for the report.
Thank you, Lovely. Let's explore the different forms of escape from taxation, such as shifting, capitalization, transformation, evasion, and avoidance. First, we have shifting. This is when the burden of a tax is transferred from the entity initially responsible to another party. Next is capitalization. This is a special form of backward shifting that occurs when the good is durable. The whole series of future taxes is shifted backwards at the time of purchase, and the future taxes must be capitalized and deducted in a lump sum from the price offered. It's like paying your future taxes upfront. Transformation is upward. This is effected through the process of production when the producer pays the taxes himself and recovers the additional expenses by improving his production, thereby turning out units of his production at lower cost. Now onto the darker side of tax strategies. Evasion is the illegal act of dodging tax payments. It involves deliberately hiding income, inflating expenses, or underreporting profits to avoid paying taxes. It's a risky game that can lead to serious legal consequences. In contrast, avoidance is the use of legal methods to reduce one tax bill. It's like finding a loophole in the system, cutting down what you owe within the bounds of the law. Lastly, we have exemption. This is the grant of immunity to a particular person or corporation from a tax upon properties or exercise which they are obligated to pay. Government grants exemption for various reasons. Charitable organizations, religious institutions, or even specific industries. Each of these strategies reflect the intricate dance between taxpayers and tax authorities. Again, this is Justine Marie Lazarte reporting. Stay informed and stay tax-savvy.
We will now explore how local government units or LGUs, our provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays play a crucial role in the taxation system and exercise their tax powers. Karine Ratahingas gives us the scope.
Thank you, Irish. Taxation, as we know, is a crucial part of our sovereignty, absolutely necessary to maintain our government. It's inherent in the state and our local government units, or LGUs, whether provinces, municipalities, cities, or barangays, can wield this power, but only if explicitly conferred upon them. The constitutional provisions aren't self-executing. They require specific authorization. The local power of taxation is subject to conditions and restrictions, and can only be used for expressed purposes. Local taxes serve public purposes, building infrastructure, providing services, and enhancing the community's well-being. However, they must not be used for private gain. Legally, local funds are exclusively for local needs. Our tax landscape draws from three key sources. Firstly, our Constitution, specifically Article 6, Section 28, emphasizes uniformity and equity in taxation. Congress aims for a progressive system, one that does not burden the poor disproportionately. Secondly, we have our national laws. The National Internal Revenue Code, enacted as Republic Act No. 8424 or the Tax Reform Act of 1997, and subsequently amended by Republic Act No. 10963 or the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Act of 2017, lays out tax rules nationwide. Lastly, here's where LGUs shine. We have our local laws. The major sources of revenue for our local government units
are the taxes collected by virtue of Republic Act number 7160 or the Local Government Code of 1991, and those sourced from the proceeds collected by virtue of a local ordinance. At the national level, the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR handles tax collection. They're like the Central Tax Command Center, but when it comes to local taxes, whether provincial, city, municipal, or barangay, the local treasurer's office steps up. They're the frontline troops ensuring funds flow where they're needed most.
With this, Karen, we want to know the in-depth look at the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion, or the TRAIN law, which is a part of the national laws and has been a significant shift in the Philippine tax system. What can you report about this?
Signed into law by the former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte on December 19, 2017, the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN law, otherwise known as Republic Act number 10963, contains several amendments to several provisions of the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997. It took effect from January 1, 2018, following its complete publication in the Official Gazette on December 27, 2017. The law aims to make tax collection more efficient and to provide inclusive growth for all Filipinos. Let's break down some of the salient features of this law, including tax schedule, minimum wage earner, 13-month pay, and other benefits, personal and additional exemptions, and VAT threshold. First on the list is the tax schedule. From January 1, 2018 until December 31, 2022, a new tax schedule is in place, providing tax relief to many Filipinos. Next, let's talk about minimum wage earners or MWEs. There is good news for our hardworking minimum wage earners. Under the TRAIN law, statutory minimum wage rates are now exempt from income tax. This includes holiday pay, overtime, night shift, differential pay, and hazard pay earned by them. Moving on to the 13-month pay and other benefits that also saw changes. A maximum of 90,000 pesos for the 13-month pay and other perks, ensuring that hardworking Filipinos enjoy more of their earnings. In terms of personal and additional exemptions, there are none. This is because the TRAIN law has simplified this by including it in the 250,000 exemption from income tax. The TRAIN law also waves goodbye to Section 33A of the Magna Carta for persons with disability in Section 22B of the Foster Care Act of 2012. Lastly, the VAT threshold. It's set at 3 million pesos. Those whose sales or receipts fall under Section 109B of the Code from the payment of VAT and not registered as VAT persons will pay a tax equivalent to 3% of gross quarterly sales or receipts. The TRAIN law is indeed a game changer for the Philippine tax system, aiming for a more equitable distribution of wealth and providing relief to the average Filipino taxpayer. This is Karen Rotajenes reporting. Stay informed, stay tax savvy.
And there you have it, folks. Our new segment for today reported in-depth discussion about fundamentals of taxation, nature of taxation power, purpose of taxation, basis of taxation such as the inherent limitations of the power of taxation, basic principle of taxation, and inherent power of the government, essential characteristics of taxes, classification of taxes, forms of escape from taxation, local taxation, and the salient features of TRAIN law. We've delved into the heart of what powers our government.
As we navigate through these complex laws and principles, remember that understanding taxation is our nation's crown. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for more reviews on how taxation shapes our economy and impacts our daily lives. Again, I am Lovely Jane Ilustre.
And I am Irish Risa Picache. This is Tax Watch News, where we break down complex tax matters into digestible bites.
From breaking news to in-depth features, we're here to guide you through navigating taxes with heart, empowering you through the financial news. Stay informed.
Stay tax savvy.
Have a good day ahead.
Last na to.